On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of a regular episode where we discuss topical news and events in the industry, we're going to look back a little bit on the past 12 to 14 months, the beginnings of this podcast, where we are today, and where we're going to go in 2019. For those of you that have been with us since the beginning, we appreciate your support. Hope everybody has a happy new year, and we'll see you again soon.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. Give me a second here to shut all my phone settings off so I don't get any
crazy, alerts from Gunbroker about the latest thing you need to buy?
Exactly. Or get any alerts from Pornhub for all the whores that want my junk.
Hey, you know what? Everybody knows that you go there for the in-range videos.
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God.
Is anyone still using Pornhub?
I do not know. I suspect a lot of that isn't. Like, I noticed James Yeager is kind of really back on YouTube quite a bit, and I know he still has his Libre TV, but I think that's I think they're having issues. I think Mac's had issues with his private network stuff for a long time. So they're all basically back on YouTube and running everything else as like backups.
Yeah.
So,
well, that doesn't shock me in the least bit.
well, we do the same thing. That's what we do with Vimeo. I mean, we're on YouTube, but I mean, everything as far as infrastructure, it lives on Vimeo. That way, if when YouTube shuts us all off, it doesn't damage the website.
It's a far fucking cry from Pornhub.
Yeah, because we pay a lot of money for Vimeo. And Pornhub is free, and again.
And you're not going to get fired at work listening to a John 1911 podcast on Vimeo opposed to listening to Forgotten Weapons or Mac on Pornhub.
Well, you know what? It's one of those. I tell you what. In Forgotten Weapons, I do not believe ever went on Pornhub. I think that actually would hurt his brand, and he was aware of it. But here's the thing. And then a lot of people are starting to figure this out. You know what? We'll just go ahead. We're just live now. We'll just go ahead live. A lot of people figure this out lately with Facebook, because here's the idea. People are starting to understand with their data being shared and marketing and all this privacy issues. If you're not paying for something and you're using the service, you are the product.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people have yet to really understand.
Well, the big guys understand it now.
They're starting to. Everyone got lazy with YouTube. And the other reason we didn't get lazy with YouTube is just simply a matter of timing. If we had been 4 or 5 years deep into YouTube like we were in Facebook when the door got slammed, it would have crippled us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Facebook damn near crippled us.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube definitely would. I mean, yeah. I mean, fortunately, we didn't deep dive into that, so.
Yeah, well, now we kind of are a little bit. So, well, this is episode, yeah. Well, now I'll tell you what. Now because look, here's the deal. I use YouTube as a funnel to capture people and then bring them into our properties that we control. I mean, and without a doubt, YouTube is the most successful video platform to do that. People do not find us on Vimeo because there's nobody on Vimeo.
I totally get that.
So, and
the difference is when YouTube decides to destroy everything we have, we won't be holding our dicks in our hand.
It won't affect us at all. Let me go ahead and say this before we go on for too much longer, because we're probably about, I don't know how many minutes into it, but this is episode 119 of the John 1911 podcast. And this one's a little bit different because it's a kind of a year-end review of 2018. And we've never done a year-end review, I don't believe, before. So
no, I don't believe we have.
No, and actually, I had to look I had to look. Let me see here. Do you know when we started this podcast? Do you know the date? I had to actually look it up.
God, no, actually, I don't.
Dude, you're gonna shit and fall back in it. October 1st, 2015.
Wow, really?
Dude, we're well deep, past 3 years, heading into 4.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like that to me at all.
Wow, you know what? You know what that tells me? It tells me we've been pretty fucking lazy because we're only at episode 119 in 3 years.
Well, you know what? We don't want to bury people with content knowing that they don't want to hear it all the time. I mean, too much of a good thing.
Everyone wants to hear everything we have to say.
Everybody wants the freezer meat. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, you can put it that way.
So I did do some data mining on this because last night, because we knew we were going to do this today. And let me go ahead and pull some of the stuff up. I ended up emailing it to myself just to make sure that I got it all right. So, all right, let's get past all my gun broker alerts. Okay, so our least popular episode, and here I'm having trouble pulling up the data because I can't pull it back up from October 1st of 2015. I can only go back about 2 years. So this may not really be real, but somebody 2 years ago, 14 months ago, our least popular episode was episode 17. We had, and I'm not even going to go what that was about.
I have no clue what episode 17 was. So
the thing is, I don't either, because when we published it, and this is the difference, when we published episode 17, we were so new that I didn't have a lot of descriptors or outlines published. It just was go, kind of like this one went. But, now we have like descriptive headlines, kind of this is what we talk about. And we have show notes and outbound links and, all that. So, and I wasn't going to go listen to the shittiest episode in our history to find out why it was shitty. I was like, well, fuck you, episode 17.
Well, it's the shittiest episode, so why would you want to listen to it?
But conversely, with the darkness comes the light. Our most popular episode. Now it was close. There we had a probably 4 or 5 of them in the same level as this one. Was episode 82. Now episode 82, we talked about the Glock 19X coming out.
Okay.
The Glock 19X, and then I guess we talked about, oddly enough, because we already talked about it, James Yeager getting kicked off of YouTube and then coming back to YouTube. So I think the combination of new Glock, old Glock gun, and then James Yeager drama, I think that was a peak moment for episode 82.
But at that time, YouTube was dropping the hammer on people, and people were very interested in hearing about that.
People were scared. And now what I did is I went through, and I wasn't going to go, okay, now episode 41 is the second and whatever. What I did is I took the top 10 episodes and I just grabbed some of the headlines in those episodes, the subjects that we talked about, and I'm going to sprinkle on this little conversation the topics that make the plethora of the bulk of our listening. Okay. So the most popular topics obviously were the Glock 19X and James Yeager getting kicked off of YouTube. Then coming back. The poop knife.
Oh my God. No shit.
YouTube kills Brownells. The issues with the SIG P365. When I call it Accuracy International shits the bed, when Accuracy International, which is a British company, came out in support of gun control in the U.S. And like
what episode is this?
I don't know the number. It was more of it was a topical and it was a rant.
Oh my God! Because the poop knife. Oh my! If anyone has not been following us for 120 episodes. you need to go back and listen to the poop knife episode. The poop knife is fucking awesome.
I was surprised to see that in there because I was like, "Oh my god, poop knife!" So, and then after that, the two other most popular topics were the troubles with the M17 service pistol, the rumors that there were troubles or issues because all the SIG fanboys and all the people that wanted to hate the SIG, they were bitching about it, and all the people that love the SIG, they were panicking about it. So, and then after that was the 40-ton bulldozer, the D8.
Yeah, well, who doesn't like to hear about a 40-ton bulldozer?
Well, you know what? I think it's fair to say, without even looking at the demographics, looking from Glock 82 to poop knife to 40-ton bulldozer, that we mostly have a male audience. I think that's pretty safe.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I know
here.
No, I know there's females that listen. I mean, I know that for a fact. But I agree that our demographic is probably 99% male.
Yeah. I got 99 problems, but a female listener ain't one. So,
you know what? Out of all the complaints we've ever had over podcast, not one of them has come from a female.
True, which is unusual in itself.
Well, actually, yeah, that is actually kind of surprising when you think about it, because I'm pretty raw sometimes. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I'm finding as we get older and saltier that sometimes I have to edit more shit out so we don't get BDS like the state of Israel.
See, here's the thing: you don't really have to edit shit out, but as you get older, you become more of a pussy.
I deserve that shit.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, speaking of pussies, did you see that meme that I posted yesterday on Instagram and Facebook?
Oh my God, have you seen the comments on that?
People are ass. So tell the listeners what the meme is and what the ass hurt is.
It's just some crusty guy with a beard holding a chainsaw with like a 4-foot freaking bar on it. And what the hell did it say? Basically, you
know what? I will give me 2 seconds, and I will bring it up right now. So that was
and of course you'll have to post a picture of the meme in the
I'll put it in the comments and the show notes on the website. Let's get I'm in my truck, so I'm on. Let's see, crazy internet we have here. So, and it'll come right up because actually this meme was sent to us by, I think, one of our regulars. I'm not going to say his name just in case he doesn't want to, have his name attached to it. It's got a picture of a guy like with a big chainsaw with a big bar, and and it's awful.
My only problem with the meme.
Well, let me read the meme first. So let me describe it. Don't walk on it. So a guy like supposedly set up like he's a man, like, and he's surrounded by a bunch of wood. He's got a chainsaw and he's in like some kind of
he's in a bar.
Yeah, and it says, and he's got a full beard, and it says, if you have a beard and you can't fell a log, butcher a deer, build a fire, sharpen a chainsaw, fire a gun, or drive a truck, it's time to shave.
Dude, I love that meme. I love that meme. My only drawback with the meme is he's holding a steel. I mean, if he had a John Surratt or a Husqvarna, it would have been a little bit more credible. But, hey, whatever. Steel's a good chainsaw.
You can look at the quality of the Photoshop to tell this was put together by a kid. So
sure.
A kid's not going to know a real chainsaw from a shit one.
Oh, you know what? At least it's not a freaking home light. Oh. But you know what, though? The best part, and I mean, we got, holy crap, man. I mean, the comments on this are amazing. But
well, it's amazing because everybody says Facebook is dead, and in many ways, like Facebook's having a lot of problems, but this post on Facebook exploded.
Look,
the amount of shares and comments and traffic and hate and love, it was like the old days.
Okay, look. There was a comment on this thread, and I'm going to read the comment. I'm not going to tell you who the comment was by, because this guy he's been a fan of ours. He's been a follower for years. He's not like a frequent flyer. He doesn't comment on every thread, and he doesn't send us a lot of PMs, but I recognize the name.
Okay.
And I mean, with all the people we have following us, the fact that I recognize the name tells you that he's a regular.
Okay.
But the comment is this, and this is the winning comment of the thread.
No.
Build a fire without using gasoline. There is a term for the bearded male who wears flannel every day and has never laid hands on a piece of wood other than a Starbucks stir stick. We like to call them lumbersexual. Dude, seriously, lumbersexual, winner chicken dinner. That is the comment of the fucking week.
That will make the show notes.
Lumbersexual.
Google how to spell lumbersexual. Well, I have an interesting story. So I had a business meeting. It's about 2 weeks ago at a restaurant, a newer type restaurant, and I'm not going to name the restaurant, but it's like a lot of like fresh food. They cook the food. It's not all. I mean, there's some fat and stuff in their food, but it's not. Their business models.
You mean bacon?
Yeah, there's bacon and stuff, but they have this they have this major hippie vibe, and somehow the way they portray everything's fresh and clean and or healthy or whatever. I'm not sure, but like every guy that's there, like you can tell, like the management, they're probably in their 30s, maybe mid 30s. They're all wearing flannel.
Yeah.
They're all wearing jeans. They all have facial hair, and a couple of them, their facial hair, like it looks like something from like the Wyatt Earp movie. They've got their mustaches are waxed and curled, like crazy curled.
Okay.
Which is cool, but part of me's like, son, do you have the cojones to back up that fucking mustache? Because you gotta be a man to wear that fucking mustache in my
Okay, so here's the problem. If you go down to say the banks, and our listeners have no clue what that is, but that's not important. And you go to a couple of the microbreweries that are set up on the banks, you walk in there, and you probably have not been to the banks for cocktails because you don't drink.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
If I'm in a place that has a liquor license because I'm having a business meeting there.
Yeah. Okay. So if you walk in there, I guarantee you there's a half a dozen guys wearing flannel, wearing jeans with suspenders, and they've got the beard that hangs down past their tits, and they've got the waxed mustachio that curls up because with the microbrew crowd, that's the look.
I did not know that.
No, seriously. Now, these guys have never actually touched a chainsaw, and they would probably wet themselves if someone handed them a chainsaw that was actually running. Even with the bar lock on, they would still probably wet themselves. But that's the thing. Now, here's the thing.
Hey, now, in their defense, and a lot of people that don't have any experience with chainsaws do not appreciate this. A chainsaw is no joke.
Oh, it's very dangerous.
I mean, chainsaw is more dangerous than a motorcycle. And people are like, I'm not going to fucking cut myself. The fuck you won't.
Chainsaw is a dangerous fucking tool. Yes, it is.
And it hurts the users. Yeah, but the guy's like, oh, no, I just won't lose control of it. Okay.
Oh, look, here's the thing. We can be out at the chainsaw party all day long, and I'm never going to risk hurting you. I'm the person at risk is me.
Mm-hmm.
But look, here's the thing. Like right now, I have a full beard, but I always grow a full beard in, for like November, December because of hunting season. And I normally don't. I normally don't wear a full beard, and I don't grow it to where it's like 8 inches long hanging off my fucking neck. I keep it closely trimmed, but I do it for hunting. And usually around the end of January into February, when deer season pretty much wraps up, I usually shave it back. I mean, and you've known me for years, and that's been the cycle.
It's true.
And I do wear flannel shirts because I do a lot of outdoor shit in the winter. I cut wood, and and their flannel shirts are warm. But I really hate the fucking stereotype, because if I go out with the full beard and a flannel shirt, I shouldn't feel weird doing it, but I do, because I'm the real fucking deal. I'm not some fucking poser who sits in a microbrew and talks down to people that drink Bud Light because they're not drinking some fucking micro swill.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I was looking at this meme, and I was hoping you would love it. And again, I didn't make this meme. And so a lot of people, when we post this stuff, they think that, like, I made it. So they'll find something wrong with it and criticize us or criticize me, which is fine. But I looked at this, and it's like, fell a log, and it's like, okay, I guess that means chop down a tree. Butcher a deer, build a fire, sharpen a chainsaw, fire a gun, or drive a truck. And I'm literally like, you literally do all of this. I cannot butcher a deer. I field dressed a deer once under supervision by you, I believe. You were telling me how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Look, there was one guy, and again, I won't name his name because I'm not going to go back and look at the thread because I don't remember who said it. But he's like, well, you can't really fell a log, you fell a tree. And again, if that guy happens to listen to our podcast, dude, you are a dick. No, seriously, because I hate, anyone who has been following us for years, who has been listening to our podcast, who has been active on our website or social media pages, know I hate douchebags that fight the semantic argument. Okay,
well, I think the word is pedantic. I think you're looking for. But,
okay,
semantic, true. Semantic as well is too.
But look, here's the thing. It's a meme. It's funny. And if the only thing you get out of it is, well, you can't fell a log, dude, you're a fucking dick. You're a fucking dick. What you should have done is you should have looked at it and laughed and said, oh, God damn, that is fucking true.
Yeah.
Because don't pick out the individual semantics of the wording. I mean, seriously, there's all these douchebags that have the big beards. I was laughing at one of my last night because he was talking to another guy about beard wax, and he's got a big old fucking. Yeah, I swear to God, and he's got one of those bushy beards that hangs down 6 inches off his chin. And I mean, as far as a beard goes, I guess it's a nice beard, but. Another guy was in there growing a beard and they were talking about beard wax. And I'm just shaking my head thinking, dude, you guys are both douchebags. You're talking about fucking beard wax. Really? That's fucking stupid. But you know what? That's the whole point of the goddamn meme.
Kinda.
Yeah. Because if you want to have a big old if you want to have a Duck Dynasty beard, look, all these guys at Duck Dynasty, you can sit there and harp on Duck Dynasty all you want. But these guys are walking the walk and talking the talk. Now, they may have beards hanging down to their fucking belt buckle, but you know what? They're out there fucking doing it. They're out there hunting. They're out there making fucking duck calls and making $1 million fucking dollars a year selling goddamn duck calls to duck hunters. They're walking the walk and they're talking the talk, whether they have no beard or a fucking 20-inch beard. But the point is, they're doing it. All these motherfuckers that are sitting in the micro beer pub house drinking micro swill, talking about how unsophisticated dickheads are that drink Natty Light and fucking Bud Light and Miller Light. Dude, Those guys, look, if the zombie apocalypse came tomorrow, they would be the first to die.
You know what? Let's expand this to big picture concepts here. What the real issue is, and it's not those 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 things in those memes. We have a lot of people, especially, and I don't want to sound like one of those stereotypical young, like, oh, them kids today, they can't do shit. But it's surprising how many young people we have today that can't change a tire, read a map, survive a fist fight,
drive a stick shift,
and drive a stick shift. Yeah, because seriously, if they stick shift, they're trapped. A fist fight, they think they're going to die. It's just they change a tire, they have to call for help. Like, it used to be like when we were young, like I knew like my peers, like I knew girls that we all were getting our driver's license, and of course the boys, we all knew how to change tires. But there were guys that be like telling their daughters, you're getting a driver's license, you're coming outside in the driveway, and I'm going to show you how to change a tire, and you're going to do it, Missy. But you know what?
It's called self-rescue.
We also didn't have cell phones back then either.
No, we did not.
No.
Yeah. Which means you had to self-rescue. But look.
Well, let me tell you this. There's a joke that, like, I was with a bunch of the SWAT guys, and we were getting ready to do something. And he goes, they're all like, this could go sideways and someone could get hurt. And they're all standing around there like, oh, no, it's okay. If something goes wrong, we'll call 911.
Really?
Well, because that's the thing. Everybody calls somebody else. So the joke is they get to call somebody else. It's like, don't worry, we'll just call 911. You'll be fine. It's like,
that's actually pretty freaking amazing.
Let me get a fucking tourniquet and put it in my pocket just in case you 911 assholes don't want to help me.
Yeah.
So let's get off the meme, because I don't want to spend an hour talking about a meme and kids that can't even, like, a fist, like a kid who gets in a fist fight, he has to shoot somebody because he thinks it's like, his life's in danger. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Because the problem is most kids under the age of 30 today, and I'm dead serious about this, and I'm not insulting everyone under the age of 30. But the truth is, the way society is going today, look, the millennial generation would be so much better if 90% of the millennials out there had gotten punched in the face at least one time.
But that's not their fault. That's the fault of society and teachers and lawyers.
Yes, you're right. You're right. But the point is, there's nothing like rearranging your outlook on life by having your nose fucking broken in a fight. I mean, I've had my nose broken, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. Because, hey, it's the easiest thing to break on your fucking face.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Does someone break your nose and you curl up in a fetal position and just like roll over and die? Or do you push through and keep fighting? Well, the guy with the broken nose that pushes through and keeps fighting is the winner.
Yeah, and that's just a lot of it's experience. I go 2 ways on this, but I don't want to spend forever on this. But I go 2 ways on it. All the kids, like when we were kids, fist fighting was part of life. It wasn't really officially condoned, but it was like, as long as come on now, let's just not long as we're not breaking bones. But then the other side. Yeah, but the other side.
I was in my early teens. I fought every weekend.
Yeah, there were fights fairly regularly when I was in school. But here's the other thing. So there's 2 sides of this, and I don't know if you're really quite aware of it, and I don't think it makes up for it, but I find it very interesting. So I don't know if this is true, but I suspect it's true. I think martial arts today is probably more popular by numbers than it ever was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now, I'm not talking about popularity. Let me get the thought out. I'm not talking about popularity at the movies. I'm not talking about popularity. Everybody knows who everybody's kung fu fighting. What I'm talking about is the amount of kids that go to a dojo or a BJJ school. Now, they're mostly mixed martial arts schools.
Yes, exactly.
And the amount of kids that are going to these places and rolling, and there's some fighting and some punching, but it's a lot of rolling and it's a lot of stuff. And I can't help but wonder if it subconsciously, if it's like a thing in their minds that they know they're missing out, they're lacking, and so they're seeking it out. So maybe this is self-correcting, at least on the very edges of society. I suspect it is.
You know what? I don't know if that's true or not, but I will tell you this. I agree with you that there's more people, because of the MMA thing, there's more people going to gyms and training. I would say more gyms that teach MMA fighting opposed to dojos that actually are traditional martial art places. But I mean, I could be wrong on that. But
here's the thing. So like I've got feet in both schools, because I've been in both areas. I've done the Gracie stuff, and I've also been in a more traditional. It's not as traditional as some of these places. We actually could punch and kick people in the head, like without pads. So we actually would fight. But a lot of people that went to kung fu classes or karate classes or whatever, they were just, if they were sparring, it was tag. They weren't really sparring, even if they got hit.
And that's the problem with a lot of martial arts.
It is, but I think a lot of the BJJ guys today are getting their asses kicked every day.
I'm a 90th degree turquoise belt in martial arts, but I've never actually connected with the punch, because every punch I've ever thrown getting my 90th degree turquoise belt was a pulled punch. Well, when you get the real world and you get some fucking goddamn Mongol biker that wants to kick your ass, if you pull that punch, dude, you're going to fucking die.
Well, a lot of guys, and I am speaking from real world experience. A lot of martial artists in traditional martial arts, and see, people will be like, when you say traditional, there's always, when you get traditional martial artist, and I even just did it myself a little bit. Yeah, we're traditional, but we really kicked each other. It's always the other guys, not you. But a lot of these traditional martial artists, they punch at a face or they kick at a target. They don't punch or actually hit through a target. And see, who was the boxer? Mike Tyson punched somebody in the face or punch somebody in the body. He wasn't jabbing at the top of you, like the surface of your skin. He was trying to punch through to your fucking spine.
Yeah.
And a lot of traditional martial artists don't know how to throw a punch. And they can even be black belts. And this is very controversial, but I have seen it. And I
will say, for the sake of argument, because there's always going to be that guy that comes in and
there's always that fucking guy.
Look, that doesn't hold true for 100% of the people. There are people that train real life and that, that's true. But the reality is, most of these guys that are training in gyms or some half-assed dojo, what you're saying is 100% true. Now, there are people out there that train real world. I don't want to sit there and say everyone who trains martial arts is in that category, because that's not true. But
I think if you look around at the market, most of the you'll see, if you actually pay, because I do, I call them the ground fighting schools, and you can say it any way you want: UFC, mixed martial arts, BJJ, Brazilian, whatever, all that horse shit. To me, it's all kind of the same thing, and I know it's not, but it is. So you see a lot of those schools, And then like the traditional, master, there's always a master Kim and a master, or they're all Kims, Taekwondo schools.
And what is the martial arts that I can never pronounce? That all the
all
cool
of them.
No, the one that all the cool kids. I call it Magi Nog or some shit like that because I can't.
Oh, that's the Israeli Krav Maga. That's more realistic. But all
the cool kids want to do that, and it's like I can't even fucking pronounce it. So suck my dick.
Yeah, Krav Maga. Historically, what it was is, the state of Israel. They had to form a military. They had to form a police force. They had to form, like a whole infrastructures to actually defend this country. So they had a guy. He was Jewish, and he went around and he knew all these different martial arts and studied all these different martial arts. He basically stole all the shit that worked and got rid of all the bullshit. And like, there's no katas, there's no bullshit, like all this crap. And it's
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and they created this Krav Maga, and that became one of the first systems that really like usurped the traditional martial arts. And then all of a sudden UFC came in and really killed it. But Krav Maga definitely is more on the real world. Like Krav Maga is a lot like the Marine Corps martial arts, the MCMAC program, the Marine Corps martial arts program. It's they're to me they're very similar. And so, but you'll.
I'll tell you what. I mean, when you're sitting in a bar with a half a dozen recon Marines, and you start talking about mixed martial arts, dude, the jokes and laughter start flying. And when you're about 8 beers into it, it's a good fucking time. Seriously. Because you can sit there and have all the fucking tattoos in the world, and you can be fucking buff as a fucking Chippendales dancer, and you can be, an MMA fucking cage ring fighter. But when recon Marines start making fun of you, you're better off just like fucking just sitting in the corner being real quiet.
So, but it's just, one of those things where I think, I'm giving the younger generation a benefit of the doubt. That's not all hopelessness and whatever, because I don't want to be one of those old guys that, because I don't think that's true. I think the best way to if you want the young people to be better is you need to be better and show them the way. Because you know what? We were young once, and there were men when we were young, and we looked up to those men, and they taught us how to be men. And it's now upon us to do the same for the younger generation.
I know it seems like the last 10 minutes I've shit on all these MMA guys. But look, let me tell you the truth.
Well, you're an old bar fighter. You don't know shit about.
It's true. But here, let me tell you the thing.
Didn't you used to hustle pool for money?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a bar fighter from like the 80s.
My fucking books in college.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not surprised. I'm not offended.
But look, and granted, I've been in quite a few bar fights over the years. But here's the thing. No, I know it sounds like I'm shitting on all these martial arts and MMA guys, but the truth is, when we started this discussion, I said all these millennials need to be punched in the face. Well, all these guys that are practicing this MMA and martial arts and shit, the truth is they've all been punched in the face, and hats off to them.
Hats off to them. That's kind of the point.
Because the point is, at least they can take a punch to the face.
Yeah.
They're the real deal. Because if you can't take a punch to the face and push on through it, you're not the real deal.
Well, Mike Tyson had that quote, and I don't think it really was him, but they attributed it to Mike Tyson, and it said, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face.
You know what? I've heard that quote attributed to a half a dozen people, but it doesn't matter who the original person is who made that quote. It's true 100%. It is.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get off shitting on the young people, and let's talk about. I don't know if you got it because you've been working this week. You've been up all night.
My sleep deprivation is just amazing right now.
Yeah. So, did you get a chance to see the analysis that Matt, the '07, gave on that parts kit for the PE57 STG? I can't ever keep them straight. Those crazy Swiss guns. Did you see those photographs?
I saw the photographs, but honestly, I didn't go to the website and read all the detailed information because I've been so damn busy. I mean, I've been working, 15 hours a day.
Well, what'd you think of the photographs?
That thing is a fucking mess.
Oh, dude, it's a fucking dumpster fire.
It's totally roached.
So anyway, if people want to see the pictures of it, go to John 1911, the PE57. So it's a parts kit. It's a Swiss gun. I think this one's in 308s. Most of them are in 7.5. Whatever. It's a weird roller lock. It's a crazy looking gun. They're about $7,000 or $8,000, and he was looking at it. He goes, we would have to rebuild this receiver. And it's a stamped, folded receiver, and he's basically like, we'd have to repair all the work that somebody else did, which is probably going to be a nightmare, and then we'd have to build it up. He said the thing would end up looking like, he said it would look like a bread box with a barrel coming out the end of it, and and then he said, you could have 10 grand into this, and it's like, here's the thing, the guns, new unmolested on the market, are between $7,000 and $8,000.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a $7,000 gun that you're going to have 10 plus into it. It's like,
that's why we're sharing it, because these are the kinds of conversations we always are having with Matt. Like, hey, we found this parts kit. Take a look at it. Is this savable? How much money can we put into this to bring this back to life? To regenerate this gun, does it make economic sense, or is there a logistical problem?
But look, also, hold on a second. I just want to interrupt here and say hats off to Matt, because Matt is a businessman. He has his own business. He's not affiliated with John 1911 as far as he's not a partner. He's not an owner. He's just the guy who does work for us. And when I say that, he's kind of part of the family. But
he has a byline on the website now, so yeah,
and that's great. But at the end of the day, he's in business to make money. If he doesn't make money, he goes bankrupt. So he could very easily tell us, "Oh no, hey, that's a good build," and next thing you know, we get a $10,000-$12,000 bill, and Matt's happy because he just made a fuck ton of money on a gun that we just lost our dick on.
Yeah, Matt, and that's why we do business with Matt.
Exactly, because he's like, yeah, you know what? No, this is not a good thing, and that's why he's part of the fucking family. I mean, he's not. He's quickly becoming an incorporated person in John1911.com because
he's been around for a little while. But what I always say,
he's well established, but he's doing enough work for us and he's treating us right. He's becoming part of the John 1911 family.
So and what it is we have all these conversations privately, and I thought they were interesting because there's a lot of people that don't understand how any of this works. And here's the thing. I could post pictures of a parts kit that we are going to build. Like, dude, the ZB26 that was currently being built, it looks not as bad as this kit. But
no, it's night and day difference between this.
But you have to be knowledgeable about machining to understand that. But here's the thing: the average person, I think, that reads our stuff goes, "Oh man, fuck that," and they don't see what's possible and what you can do. But we're educating the reader so they can see, like, okay, how do you start with this? What to look for? What to avoid? And I thought it was so interesting. I asked Matt if we could just go ahead and give him a byline and publish it because we're already generating all the content. He was like, fine by me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if we publish it, if a parts kit makes it to the website, it basically means we're not doing it. There are other kits in the system that people don't see yet because we haven't decided yet.
They see them, that means they're going to be done.
Because the thing is, if they're for sale, we don't want to publicize them and then end up bidding against ourselves and running the prices up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we secure the stuff before you make it popular.
Look, I'm a certified gunsmith and an armor, but I don't even pretend to have a fraction of the talent Matt has. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I know how to do this stuff. I don't have the equipment to do this stuff.
I think a lot of it is based in equipment and time. If you had a shop and you did this 40 hours a week, your welding skills would come right back up to where they used to be.
Yeah, no doubt. But I don't have the shop. I don't have the equipment. I know how to do it. I know exactly how to do everything. But not having the wherewithal to do it is the difference. He does this for a living.
Well, that's why we brought him on board, because there was a lot of people that were saying, just have Freeze rebuild the Bren kit.
And you know what? And I could.
The problem is, I don't want you to spend 400 hours on that kit and not doing the other shit that we need you to do for John 1911. It wasn't worth it. I was like, I need you doing other shit.
Exactly. Plus that Bren kit becomes a $20,000 build because I don't have the equipment to do what I need to do, and we have to buy the equipment. That's where Matt comes in. He's already got the equipment.
Well, you know what? Think about where we started 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago with the podcast, and now we're on episode 119, and where we've got a big ass range now. We're reactivating parts kits. We've got a video production, property. We have a full blown article property that vomits out content constantly. That's getting a fair amount of traffic. We've come a long way in 119 episodes.
Oh yeah.
You want to hear what a bad episode sounds like? Go to episode 1, press play. You'll make it about 15 seconds, and you'll be like, holy shit. I stopped listening to it. I stopped. I was like, nope, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm living in today, baby.
You know what? Everyone's got to start somewhere. You got to start at step one. And how long did it take me to convince you to do podcast?
9-10 months, probably minimum, maybe longer.
Damn near a year.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started, we were rough. It was not good. But just like everything we've ever done. How many years have we known each other?
I don't know. Probably since, I don't know, maybe 2000, 99.
I don't know. We've known each other probably knocking on the door of 20 years, close to it. And we started out as casual acquaintances talking about 1911s.
Yeah, gun shit.
Yeah. And then it went on to where, and I'm not going to get into details, but you needed some T-shirts made. And being that I'm kind of an all around DIY kind of guy, I'm like, well, I can do that. So I started making T-shirts for you in another business, which we won't get into, but it has nothing to do with this. But that's how we got into the T-shirt business. I started making some, and actually, compared to the T-shirts we were selling with tacticaltshirts.com, they were pretty crappy.
They were really crappy. But you know what?
But you know what? You got to learn. And
you were making T-shirts for some gun schools at one point.
Yes, we were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we built it to where actually we had a top-notch T-shirt business. We were making top-notch T-shirts. They were super quality T-shirts. But it started out me making really, really shitty T-shirts for you. But you got to start somewhere, and I mean, it just built up to where it is. And then, of course, we blew the T-shirt business up because, you have to move on.
Yeah, the Facebook reset really hurt us. And what became obvious to me, and I don't know if our listeners, because we still occasionally get someone reach out and be like, hey, man, I'm looking to replace this whatever T-shirt. You're still making T-shirts. Where can I get one? And, what happened is, people would find us because of the T-shirts. And that's true. And they would, because that was real popular, all that, the kind of like that cool guy gun shirt thing.
Yeah.
But they were staying because of who we were and our content and the stuff we talked about and the stuff we were doing. And what was happening was we were so dependent on third-party social media outlets to advertise the T-shirt business, and we were not investing in the brand of who we were, but was what people really were interested in and wanted to know about. Like, people would buy T-shirts from us and come and be like, hey, man, how do I fix this gun? Or, hey, man, what is this? Or how does this work? And it was just like, you know what? We need to just basically start over, rebrand as who we are. People are more interested in us, and then we'll market off that later. And that's how John 1911 was born.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
and that started the idea of like, okay, if we're going to actually market us, we better do a fucking podcast. All right, if we're going to market us, we better start making goddamn videos. And,
exactly.
And that was a big sea change, especially for me.
Well, but you know what though, and we don't ever talk about this publicly, but
maybe we should now.
You know what? No, maybe we should now because it's the end of the year podcast. But maybe we should. We took a huge financial hit by T-shirts. I mean, we were making pretty decent fucking money on T-shirts, and we decided at one point, if we want to progress this and grow this brand the way it is, we've got to blow up the T-shirt thing because
people would be shocked.
Well, okay.
And we're not going to give the numbers.
No. We're not going to even go into fucking numbers because let's face it, the numbers accounted for some marital discord on my part. Okay? I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. But okay, here's the thing. When you have to decide, okay, we're spending so much time making T-shirts, and we're making money, don't get me wrong. But the problem with that is we can't build the brand and we can't branch off to the direction we want to go as a company and as people. As two gun guys who want to expand into, podcasting and videos. Well, when you're spending 12 hours a day making T-shirts, and mind you,
well, let's be real. You made all the T-shirts. I never physically. I mean, I may have made a handful of shirts, but you made every shirt that ever came out of our business.
I'm working a fucking day job, and I'm spending 12 hours a day making fucking T-shirts to keep up with the volume. Mm-hmm. I was getting 4 hours of sleep a day at best. The problem is I can't do podcasting and I can't do videos and I can't do other things. I can't, when I'm making T-shirts. So we came to a decision. And there were multiple reasons why we came to this decision. And I'm not going to go into super details with it, but but the point is, we totally blew up a profitable business to move on to the direction we're in. And
I think in the long term, I think it's going to be more beneficial for us. I think it'll be more profitable. Because the T-shirt stuff's going to go out of style, but John 1911, our brand that we're doing, isn't going to go out of style because we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but it's a point in time where you have to sit there and make a decision to where do you want to kill the cash flow to better the brand?
Well, I thought about this last week before Christmas, and I wonder if you still think about this because I'd kind of forgotten about it. Do you remember what it used to be like, say about the week before Thanksgiving all the way up to a few days before Christmas?
Oh yeah.
December. Like December was insane.
Do not even say, do you remember what it was like? Because I lived it. I was the one doing it. Oh yeah, I remember. But okay, but if we would not have blown up the brand and we would still be making T-shirts and pumping out T-shirts and making money on T-shirts the way we always did, you know what we would not have? We would not have a fucking farm with a fucking shooting range on it. And I mean, we
wouldn't have the parts kits build. We wouldn't have the reference collection is big because the thing is it wasn't even necessarily about money. I mean, money is always important and money is always a thing, but we had no time.
That's the thing. There would not be any secondhand showcase videos.
Hell the fuck no.
There would not be any relationship with Matt, the 07, because there was no fucking time because literally in a 24-hour day, there was not enough time to do everything that we're doing now and make the volume of T-shirts we were making.
Yeah, we'll monetize and merchandise again in the future, but it'll happen in a different way.
Oh, no, and that's coming in 2019. But not the way it was. So all our old fans from the tactical T-shirt days, it's going to be different. But we will in 2019. We will be bringing things to the table, but it's going to be totally different.
It'll be very different.
Oh, absolutely, because this is not about me slaving away 12 hours a day making T-shirts. It's going to be about us building a brand, and we will have product to sell, yes, but it'll be better product. I think it'll be better product, but it'll be different product as well.
Yeah, we'll get there. But, I don't want to spend, a lot of time making promises for things that people don't even understand what's coming. So they're just going to be lost.
There are no promises. It is what it is. We're running the show.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about, is there anything else as far as it being end of year that we want to talk about? Do we want to do any of the current news or politics or just kind of wrap it up as the end of year?
You know what? I do want to mention one thing. And this is coming out of left field because we have not discussed any of this.
Nope. Hold on. Let me get my little marker ready so in case I have to edit this shit out.
Okay. If you remember, there was the family that was executed. The pot growing family in Upper Ohio that was killed. And
they're east. They're actually east of you, but yeah.
Yes. Well, we predicted on a podcast, I believe, that it was Mexican cartel people, and the people that hit that family were back in Mexico before the cops even found the dead bodies.
Yes.
That turns out to be totally incorrect.
That is true.
And for the viewers, and I don't know what even, I have no clue what episode we talked about this on.
It's the Rodin family.
Yeah. Well, turns out there was another drug family that was that, I mean, basically it was just a local drug family on drug family argument, and one family wiped out the other. And of course, they've all been wrapped up, and I don't know if they've all been sentenced yet, but
they've all been arrested. So here's the update. And I didn't tell you this. I had a conversation with a guy about a week or 10 days before Thanksgiving. And he was talking to me, and he said, this came up, and I told him what we had heard and kind of where it was going, because these people are in the drug game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when I say the drug game, I'm not talking about like some kid that that, like the listener, like if you go out and you buy your pot from somebody, or you get something like your source or your hookup, these people are in the organized crime Mexican marijuana drug game. They 100% are. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these Mexican gangs actually will run pot growing operations in the U.S. So that these people are in that. There's no dispute in that. So I told it. We'd heard they probably weren't paying somebody, some dispute, and they got killed. He said, he goes, I heard that. He goes, I was just talking to a guy, and he said, I heard that it was not the Mexicans. They know who it is, and they're going to wait till after the election. So election was November 7th or 8th or something? 4th, 7th through 8th, 4th through 8th. He says they're going to wait till after the election, and then they're going to arrest them all. And I was like, okay. I said, you probably know more than I do. Like he was like, no, you're pretty credible, and and I'm like, that's fine, I may be, but you may know more, because I haven't even looked at this in a while. And sure enough, in wasn't goddamn couple weeks later, after the election, it was another family that lived next to these people, and they were all arrested. And what had happened was, if the story is correct, the family that did the killing, a woman who was killed, she was shot in her bed, maybe in her 20s. I'm not sure what her age was, but there was a very young child, 1 or 2 years old, next to her that was left alive.
Yeah.
That child's father took that child, and they all, quote, moved away to get away from the violence, and they all moved to Alaska. Turns out they were the killers. And they all eventually they arrested the guy, they've arrested grandma. It's a huge mess. And and then on top of all of that, this is
none of the people that were arrested were local. I mean, they had all moved away.
Oh, they were local to Pike County.
Originally, but when they were all arrested, they were all arrested in other states.
I don't know if all of them were, but like the main people, like I think grandma may have been arrested for I don't know, like conspiracy or I don't know, whatever bullshit. Like it's an extra charge. Like, she may have lied to investigators and, hindered investigation and obstruction of justice and some of this stuff. I mean, it's big stuff, but the killers, and a bunch of them, they all moved to Alaska. And apparently the cops knew pretty soon, who it was. But interestingly enough, see, Pike County is northeast of us, mostly east. And I don't know if we talked about this. I think I made mention of it. The sheriff of Pike County, like last week, this is how fucked up this county is, apparently. There's been an accusation that the actual sheriff, so it's a small old little county, so it's not like it's like a major metropolitan, like 1,000 police department sheriff, 1,000-man sheriff's department. But the actual sheriff, the guy that runs for sheriff, he actually wears a uniform, goes on patrol, has a gun belt, was shaking down dopers of their money to support his gambling habit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what a fucked up county that is. They've got Mexican cartels running grow operations. They got hilljacks wiping each other out, and they got a sheriff that's robbing dopers to pay for it. No fucking wonder they couldn't fucking solve this crime. Why it took the state to come in and do it. Because the sheriff's office didn't solve this.
No, yeah, exactly.
The state of Ohio, the attorney general, and the FBI solved this. Because apparently the law enforcement, and there's probably somebody in Pike County listening to this that may take umbrage with these statements, but, you know, y'all got some problems.
Well, it is.
It is what it is.
You know, I mean.
And so, yeah, we were wrong. We called it wrong.
We were totally fucking wrong.
But you know what? It's interesting because it was shortly after that happened. I was in Texas and I was talking to a sheriff on the border and a Texas Ranger. And they had heard about the killing, and they told me, they were like, we heard that it was a Mexican group, a kill team. I hate the word sicario because everyone uses that phrase now. A bunch of Mexican killers, and they had heard in Texas on the border that the guys were back across the border before the bodies were found. I didn't hear that in the rumor mill in Ohio. I was told that by a cop in Texas. That's what they had been hearing locally.
And I actually heard that from several local PDs that I'm familiar with. So consensus.
And what fucked this all up? It wasn't like, again, and why this is all screwed up, because think of it like a mob thing. They're all mobsters. You know, the mob killed them. Well, it turns out it wasn't really the mob. It was individual Guidos who were pissed off at each other over something. It wasn't like the mob hit them, but they were dirtbags nonetheless. And so instead of the Mexican Guidos killing the guys, it was the Pike County Guidos killing the other Guidos. Isn't that awesome? Mexican Guido might make the show notes.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it really doesn't matter. I mean, look.
At the end of the day, look, here's the usual suspects of the dirtbags in the orbit of this crime. Let's start working because they're dirtbags. They're all fucking dirtbags.
Yeah.
You know, a guy shot the mother of his child while the child was. I mean, they killed. Like, how many people did they kill? Was it like 8?
Jesus, yeah, it was like 8 or 9 people.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 different separate buildings.
Here's the thing: it was in like 3 different locations, so it's not like they went into one house and executed everyone. It was a multiple hit. It was like.
And like they're calling it like a compound, or maybe just like maybe it was a farm with multiple homes on the property, or they were just family members lived near each other.
No, it wasn't even one farm with multiple homes. It was multiple properties. You know, I mean, so it was a coordinated hit between multiple properties where they wiped out this entire fucking family. You know,
somebody was watching too many episodes of too many iterations of the Scarface movie.
Yeah, I guess.
At the end of the day, all the street kids they get the wrong takeaway from the movie Scarface, because they all love that, but they fail to recognize that Scarface, they all die.
Well, you know,
they don't get away with shit.
You know, like all the black people in the hood idolize Scarface. And I know this.
Yeah, they did back when I was working too. You always would see the Scarface jackets.
I mean, I've seen cars. I've seen like Chevy Caprices jacked up on 24s with fucking Scarface paint jobs on their fucking car, you know?
Yeah.
But look, and this is what I've always told all these fucking gangbangers. It's like, you idolize fucking Al Pacino and Scarface. Fuck Al Pacino and Scarface. He's a fucking punk. You know who if I want to idolize a gangster, I idolize Vito Corleone. And here's why. If you watch The Godfather, Vito Corleone died of a heart attack as an old man playing
in
his garden with his grandson. I don't want to be the guy who idolizes the guy who sticks his face in a big mound of cocaine and goes out in a blaze of fucking glory with fucking goddamn federal agents riddling his body full of bullets. Fuck that. I want to be the guy who dies of a heart attack in his own garden playing with his grandchildren as an old man. That's the winner. That's the fucking winner. Fucking Scarface is not the fucking winner. He's the loser.
They take the wrong lesson away.
Yeah, they do.
So,
they do. It's the wrong lesson.
I remember I was talking to these bangers. Oh God, it was. No, I'm sorry. These weren't bangers. They were biker dopers, and we were having a serious heart to heart about like the end game of where all this is going to end up. And I'm like, do you know of anybody that retired and like went away and now lives? Like I said, do you know of anyone that like made it? Like, let's say even they left the life behind, they got a bunch of money and now they're legit. And they're like, no. I said, okay. Do you know of any, and this is the example I gave, it's topical now because of Kevin Spacey. I said, do you know of any Kaiser Sozes who are legends that nobody can identify, but who went off to the mountain and, is undetectable, untouchable, and, they're now living like high on the mountain somewhere. And they're like, no. And I'm like, do you know about statistics and odds? And they're like, what do you mean? And I basically was telling them, I kind of ran the numbers and I said, yeah, you're getting by people here and you're getting by people here. And I said, like there was a dope team in a dope team in Northern Kentucky that was looking for him, like literally looking for him that day. And it's like, then there's a group out in Oklahoma looking for him. And I said, you realize, I said, the arc of the stats here is not going to end up you being Kaiser Soze, walking off with a fake limp, getting into the car and riding into the sunset. I said, you realize if you don't have a exit plan, a law enforcement agency is going to have an exit plan for you. I said, have you thought about where this is going to go? Yeah. And I actually really rung their bell, Dave, because we were having a straight up real conversation. I said, how much money is enough? When do you bank your winnings and just walk the fuck away?
Well, you know what? I had a guy, and this guy was a low-end drug dealer. And this was probably 25 years ago. Now, mind you, things have changed over the past 25 years.
Fentanyl.
Well, yeah, but he never dealt in heroin. He was kind of a pod and pills kind of guy. He dealt in pot, he dealt in pills.
Oh, there wasn't heroin 25 years ago. Not really.
No. There was heroin. But, this guy was kind of a low-end drug guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and we had a serious conversation. And mind you, we had this serious conversation where it was amazing that he was even willing to talk to me because I could have seriously done some damage to his fucking professional career. But he's like, look, here's the thing. He's like, I have 15 customers. And I don't expand on those 15 customers. If a customer comes to me and says, hey, I got a buddy, he's like, I don't accept their buddy. He's like, I'll do a little research on them and maybe I'll expand to 16 customers down the road. But right now, this is my customer base. He's like, I don't take on new customers. He said, I don't take on people I don't fucking know. And he's like, I don't make millions of dollars a year. He's like, but now mind you, of course, this was a time when it was pre 9/11. It was easier to get money out of the country. He's just like, he's like, I make $300,000-$400,000 a year, and he said I push it out into foreign bank accounts. And he's like, I'm not looking to get like uber rich. And he's like, I figure within 10, 15 years, I'll retire, move to the fucking Caribbean, and live high on life. And,
Are you there?
yeah, no, there's a logic to that argument, because now, mind you, times are different today than they were then. It's a lot harder to move funds into a foreign bank account today than it was back then. But the point is, he dealt low-end drugs to a certain amount of customers. He wasn't looking to get uber rich. He wasn't fighting territorial battles with other drug dealers. He was just selling his dope where he could, and he was banking the money. And actually, when I met the guy, he was working in a Waffle House as a fucking cook.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. We can't go on too much longer because my battery's about to die, and I don't want to have to make this super hard to edit.
But my point is, actually, I have no point in this. I just want to give an FYI. If anyone is looking for a Glock 9mm threaded barrel for their Glock, if you want to suppress it, Bear Creek Arsenal is currently having a killer sale where you can get a threaded black nitride finish barrel for your Glock 19 for $49.99. And these barrels normally retail for about $150.
Wow. Okay.
So, hey, you know what? Public service announcement for Bear Creek Arsenal.
There's your deal of the day. So
there's your deal of the day. So, do you have any police blotters before we wrap this up?
You know what? I've got two. They're not straight up police blotters, but we got to do it quick because I'm going to die here any second. Okay. Apparently, there's the Russian collusion investigation with Robert Mueller, whatever his name is. Yeah. Apparently, there's stories that's breaking this morning that Mueller has in his possession a naked selfie, and it's being debated in court. And I'm like, what? Who the fuck's that? They're not saying whose selfie it is. I suspect it's probably Manafort. I don't know why. I just do. Naked selfie. So I thought that's interesting. Like, well, you know what? The naked selfie with Robert Mueller and the next story are proof that 2018 is so fucking weird. So I talked about Kaiser Soze, and that's Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah.
And Kevin Spacey, look, I got to be honest here. Like, I love Kevin Spacey.
I love Kevin Spacey. I do. I love him.
Yeah, and apparently he was in a TV show called House of Cards. I don't watch TV, so I definitely never saw that. Not that it matters.
I'm familiar with House of Cards, but I have never actually ever seen an episode of House of Cards.
Apparently it's a story that's set in fictionalized Washington, D.C. politics. So, whatever it is, what it is. Yeah. So all this shit came out where he, apparently was diddling little kids or doing something. I don't know. He apparently had a reputation. He got Me Too'd, which is fine. Apparently, I was like, everyone knew that Kevin Spacey had problems, just like everyone knew that Weinstein guy, except unless you lived in Middle America. So he got fired. So anyway, Kevin Spacey the other day releases this video on his personal YouTube account. I sent it to you. Did you see it?
I did, and I thought it was amazing.
Apparently, he is playing the character in the TV show of House of Cards. But it came out...
I have never seen an episode of House of Cards, so I was coming into this new.
Okay, but we got to go quick. It's about to die. This came out. I don't know if he was trying to audition to get a job back in House of Cards because he was killed off, I think. Or if it was because apparently the same day he was indicted on the East Coast for probably gross sexual imposition. I'm not quite sure what the charge is. I don't think it could be rape, but definitely I think it's some kind of GSI is what we would call it in Ohio. And it's like this. A lot of people are making fun of the video, but I think he's a really good actor. And I remember I was watching that video, and it reminded me a lot of some of the people I used to interface with back before I retired.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'll put the video up in the show notes, but I thought that was just 2018 is so crazy between Kevin Spacey losing his mind on a crazy, he can't delineate reality from fiction. And Mueller's got naked selfies.
You know what though? I don't know. I'm holding off on the Kevin Spacey deal. I really am, because he's a brilliant actor and he's not a stupid person.
No, I'm gonna straight up, that video of him talking in that video, I thought was amazing acting.
I thought it was brilliant. And
I was like, God damn, that guy's good.
You'll have to copy the link.
I will. So, all right. So maybe a less normal episode, but what the hell? End of year wrap up. We'll get back to the normal ranting and hollering, in 2019. So this wraps up episode 119 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to see some stories or pictures of things we talked about, go to our website, john1911.com. It'll be in the show notes. And just remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.